It's a gorgeous spring day, perfect for my morning drive from my home in Santa Cruz to my job in Monterey. Through the quiet wooded areas of Capitola, down Highway 1 through the emerald fields of Watsonville, the scenic harbor and vast wildlife bogs of Moss Landing, and into the Outlands. That is what I affectionately call that area of marina where you've got some trees and some sand and not much else. And as I'm cruising through in the 75-mile-an-hour traffic, I know a flat tire when I feel one. Quick as lightning, on go my blinkers, check the traffic, and I get to the shoulder. The shoulder in the Outlands is a glorified bike lane. Once you get your car all the way over to the right of the pavement, you've got about a foot of pavement between you and that magic white line defending you from that 75-mile-an-hour traffic. I slink out of my door. I did pretty well. I've got about 14 inches. And I make the rounds of my car, and the first thing I see is what used to be my driver's side rear tire. And I really wish I was physically strong enough to change my own damn tire. But I'm not. So I slink back into my car, whip out my handy-dandy smartphone, and call roadside assistance. Yes, I'm a member. No, I'm not calling from my home location. Yes, I'd like a representative. No, I don't know my zip code. Yes, I really would like a representative. Yes, hi. Yeah, I need service. And once I've explained to this nice lady who doesn't get paid enough that no, I don't have a street address to give her because I'm in the Outlands of Highway 1. And no, there's no cross street because I'm in the Outlands of Highway 1, and there's no business I'm in front of. She figures out where I am and assures me that someone will be there in 45 minutes to an hour. Off the phone with her, quick email to the boss letting her know I'll be late. Smartphones really are handy dandy. And then I whip out my secret weapon, a book, because I'm nerdy that way. And I don't have a speech to work on today. As prophesied by the Oracle of Allstate, in 45 minutes to an hour, a car pulls up behind me, getting as far over on the glorified bike lane as it can. And he slides out of his car, and I slide out of my car, and we say hello. And he looks at what used to be my left rear tire. And he looks at the 14 inches of pavement between my tire and the 75-mile-an-hour traffic, and he looks at my tire, and he looks at me and says, "This is very dangerous." Knowing that, looking him in the eye and confidently responding, "No kidding, Captain Obvious," might be considered rude, I merely shrugged non-committally. I actually hadn't planned on breaking down in the Outlands this morning. So he looks at my tire, and he looks at the pavement, and he looks up the road at the off-ramp about a half a mile down. He says, "Okay, here's the plan. I'm going to get my air compressor, and I'm going to reinflate your tire enough that you can get down the road to the off-ramp and off to the side where it's safer." And I look at what's left of my tire, and I look at him and say, "Whatever you think's best." So he hooks up his air compressor, attaches it to my valve, turns it on. It starts chugging and humming like some super machine. And I look at what used to be my tire, and I see the shreds of rubber doing a spastic hula to this breeze we've now provided them. And he turns off the air compressor and puts it back in his car. And he looks at the 14 inches of pavement and what used to be my tire. And then he looks on the other side of the glorified bike lane, where there's about an 8-inch strip of land, home to something that I think used to be grass, and then a sheer drop to an uncultivated field below. and he looks at the 8 inches of land, and he looks at the 14 inches of pavement, and he looks at me and says, okay, I want you to pull your car forward and to the right as far as you can get. And I look at the 8 inches of land and the drop to the uncultivated field below, look at him and respond, no problem. I get back into my car, turn it back on, and I inch forward and to the right, checking the mirror, forward, to the right, forward, to the, okay, that's as far as I'm going. And at this point, my knight in shining denim determines it's safe enough to change my tire, which he does, and I thank him, and I get on my way, mentally calculating how many miles I have left on this dang donut that Chrysler put in my PT Cruiser, and realizing I'm going to need to buy a new tire and a new donut, because this has happened to me before. But that's another speech. What lessons did I take away from my adventures in the Outland? Number 1, smartphones really are handy dandy. 2, always have a book with you, or a speech to practice. And 3, I really need to get into good enough physical shape to change my own damn tire. Madam Toastmaster.